All right.
Eagles and stuff.
Just calling the meeting to order, please. Thank you. We have some people that have to leave early, so we're trying to be efficient here today.
Oh, okay.
So, yes, everybody would like that anyway, I'm sure. So,
Mr. Chairman,
does everybody have a packet?
I'm sorry, Mark says he'll be like 5 minutes late.
Okay, we'll deliver that. Do you all have a packet? Okay, thank you. And thank you, Sue. And Liz, the packets. So, all right. I do believe we are all here. No one is absent, so we have a quorum. And just another reminder about the open meeting law that we must adhere to. And I'll open the floor to announcements. If you have any.
Yeah, I do.
Oh, Anne Lee has one. Great.
Littleton's Memory Cafe will be this Saturday at 10 o'clock, 10 to noon, at the Baptist Church, and all are welcome, and it's free. And we have the Honky Tonk Piano Man coming, and he does all sorts of oldies, but I guess he really puts on a performance too, so.
Great. Why don't you
Yeah.
tell people a little bit about the Memory Cafe, the people that it's, you know.
Yeah, a memory cafe is a place, a safe place for folks with changing memories and their caretakers. And we're still small, so we would welcome anybody who would like to find out and see what our program is to come and visit with us. We start at 10 o'clock, and for about a half an hour have refreshments. And then we have our program usually from 10 to 10:30, and then to 11:30, and then 11:30 till noon. We just sort of talk and, you know, whatever. And we get over a little early. Sometimes we play games or do arts and crafts, but this month we have the Honky Tonk Piano Man, so.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
It really does. So.
Thank you.
We hope people will attend, that's
Yes.
for sure. Yes. We're very lucky we have that in this town. So people should take advantage of it, at least explore it. Other announcements? No, I have a couple, four to be exact. The first one is on Tuesday, October 29th. I just want to call people's attention to the housing forum. I guess that's the best way to describe it. The flyer is, there is a flyer out and it says 55 and thinking of making a move. And maybe Liz, do you want to speak to that or?
Sure, yep. So this is put on by Metro West Collaborative Development. They're going to be doing about a 55-minute presentation on affordable housing options here in Littleton. Lisa Larrabee from the Housing Authority will also be there to talk about housing from the Housing Authority standpoint. I'll be talking a little bit about general resources that are available to the community. And I believe two of the big developers in town will be there. I want to say Fields and Kennard, but I'm not sure that's who it is. It's two of them doing about a 5 to 10 minute presentation on what they're doing here in town and what their new housing sites are going to look like. Should be a good event.
Okay. Mark your calendars.
What time?
It's 1:30 to 3:30. And I'm not sure of the room.
103.
103. So the where the selectmen hold their meetings.
Yep. And there'll be refreshments there.
So please do get it on your calendar and plan to attend.
Is that advertised any place like out, so the other people in the community might see it? Like, I mean, is there flyers up?
I'm not sure exactly where the flyers are. I don't know. In the grocery stores and things, are you thinking?
I'm just thinking, you know, because 55 doesn't necessarily read the broadcaster.
Well, I know I took, the churches have them. I know that I got them out to even the Mormon church at the neighborhood supper. I spoke to them. I was there that night, and they were going to post the housing thing on the 29th, as well as the focus groups.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Nancy?
Can you get it on the town-wide email? When there's something happening in town, it goes out to everyone, not just over 55?
Oh, sure, we can put that in the little alert box on the town website, but it's also in Nicole's email
Right.
blasts that are going out too.
Okay.
But that's a great idea, we'll put that on the website.
Thank you.
Of course, it's a great idea.
Of course, it's a great
I
idea.
saw that light bulb from across the room, just lit up.
Great, thank you.
Yeah.
So, and speaking of other events that are happening, everyone needs to mark their calendar, make sure they come to town meeting. It's a big town meeting, a lot going on, a lot of important issues. Nothing specific for seniors is on the warrant for this town meeting, but there are a lot of important issues. The sewer program, the library, the water treatment plant. I'm trying to think what else, but there's several. We all received our booklet in the mail, so please do try to come. There will be transportation for seniors.
If you need it, give us a call.
Give a call to the office, and also there will be parking close to the entrance to the school, the seniors. So please do get out and be heard.
Now, I talked to Diane Crory and to see if we could potentially have a table, just to give out information general about our outreach resources, so if anyone would like to man a table there, we can do that. Myself, Nicole, and Amy will be working, signing people in, so if any board members wanted to be at a table, we could arrange that too.
Okay, think about that and,
Let me know.
yeah, let Liz know. And segueing right into that, there's another message that I think is important to try to get out to people, and that is from the town clerk. And I printed what she has posted online, but if you go online under the town of Littleton, you don't even have to go very far. It's on the front page over to the left. If you look down, scroll down, you'll see the message. Click on it and open it up. And this is what it is. But it is, I'll read you what she has, the message she has put out. If you have not returned a census form within the last 3 years, the clerk's office has inactivated you and any voter in your household from the voter list. What does this mean for you and the upcoming special town meeting and any future town meetings or elections? In order to participate in any voting, you must update the household census, as well as each voter completing the continuous residence form. And you can get a sample of the forms. It's a link to this message, but call the town clerk's office. And she says, it is advised that you do this before the night of special town meeting, October 28th, 2019.
It is a special town meeting.
And call her, because you have forms that have to be filled out. You can't just walk into town meeting and say, oh, whatever. So, please do pay attention to it if you have not completed your census in the last 3 years. Yes, Maureen?
Curiosity, just for people who, like me, check off the form, stick it back in the envelope and put it in the mail, might behoove us to also call just to make sure that they've gotten it back.
That's a good point. I always drop mine off and put it in
And
the...
I always just throw it back in the mail, so.
Yeah. A lot of people, I'm sure, do mail it in.
Yeah.
And also,
Well,
there
they'll
is
find
always
it.
a box in the town clerk's office on the counter to just drop it off and put it in.
Right. But if they haven't done it for 3 years, they won't be on the list, right?
They're going to be...
They're going to be
inactive.
on the list, but there's going to be an I that says inactive, and you know how long the line is to sign in?
I'll be
Then
early.
you will be taken out of that line, and you will
Go to
go
the
to
new
another
line.
line, and you'll do everything that it says on there, and then you can get back in the long line, and...
In other words,
Meaning,
fill
you
out
want
the
to do it
census
now.
form.
You want to do it this week.
Get it done.
So-
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. So we got a list from Diane Crory of everyone over the age of 60 and who was inactivated. Went through it, compared it to our records, tried to track people down. Our intern Ryan was calling, emailing, Google searching. And so we tried to contact anyone over 60 who we could. If we could not, we sent them a letter. So if anyone watching got a call from Ryan at the Council on Aging, that's us trying to reach out to you.
Okay, so I'm fine then.
Yeah, you're not on the list.
Yeah.
You would have heard from me.
But it's so important. And the other piece about the town meeting is they are expecting a large turnout.
Yes.
And they are setting up an overflow room.
Mhm.
And the word is, get there early.
Mhm.
So you don't have to park a mile away. Even though there are parking places designated for seniors, there's apt to not be enough.
Well, the other thing is
So-
that night there's a soccer game
Oh, that's
at
right.
the school,
Oh,
so
that was a nightmare the last
that'll
time.
be
Well-
very difficult to find places to park.
They were talking about trying to shuttle people even.
Right, from the high
Yeah,
school.
I don't know whether they set that up. But get there early. If you are going, get there early. Okay. All right, that covers the town meeting and the
Put a
census.
sign on my
And
wall.
there are,
Parking
I just
free.
want to announce that there are 2 more focus groups happening in the month of October. And we welcome people to come. The focus group is to talk about analyzing the current and future needs of residents of Littleton as far as activities and things going on in town, including space, everything. So there is one this Wednesday at 12 noon here at Chaddock Street on the 2nd floor in the COA area. And then Wednesday, a week from Wednesday, October 30th at 8:30 a.m. Please call the office and sign up if you have not. So, all right, that does my note and my announcements. Anyone else think of something else? And I saw Mark walk in. Welcome, Mark. You can come up to the table if you'd like. We're going to try to get right to you in just a couple of minutes. So go ahead, Liz.
I just remembered I wanted to introduce everyone to Carol. She's our nursing student from Northeastern. She's helping out in the social club.
Hi, Carol. Welcome, Carol.
And then just one other quick thing. Our birthday card program is very near and dear to my heart, and Sue and our team and Nicole work so hard to get these birthday cards that students at Shaker Lane and the other Littleton schools draw, and then we mail them out. The friends were nice enough to fund some postage stamps for us, and I got a call and a card this month thanking us for getting a birthday card. So this one woman just said, please accept my sincere thanks for the sweet and kind birthday card. It made my day. So thank you to the friends for funding the postage stamps, and I just wanted to recognize all the hard work that Sue and Nicole and Amy put into this program to mail out. How many birthday cards a month, Sue? Too many. A lot.
Yeah, between 90 and 100.
A month, a lot of
Yeah.
people.
Well, that's for a 2-month period. So we combine, like say September and October.
Okay.
So it's about 90.
It really does make a difference to
It does.
receive a card
Yep.
that's hand-drawn by an elementary school student. It's just so sweet, and people really do appreciate it.
Now, is this for all seniors, or is it just for people homebound?
People living in Littleton over the age of 78 receive a birthday card. We
Okay.
had to narrow it down because there was a lot of postage costs associated with that.
So you're only a senior when you're 78 now, right?
Right.
All right.
There we go. We're making progress.
We're youngins still.
Younger by the minute.
We're youngins.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Anything else before we move on? All right. If not, can we move? Take a look at the minutes real quick.
I move the minutes be accepted.
I second.
Okay. Is there any discussion? I have one thing I would like to point out. One change. Down under number 2, it says Marge will continue to seek clarification on a question regarding a partial member being voted into full-time. I clarified that at the last meeting about the fact that if you are appointed to the board and you're fulfilling an non-completed term, you complete that term and then your 2 terms start after that. I did clarify that, so I'm asking that that be deleted from the minutes, not menu.
Has
Minutes.
changed.
Excuse me?
It has changed.
Has changed, all right.
Second.
So, any
Oh,
other
has
discussion on the floor about the minutes?
I just have one question. You said, and then complete 2 terms, isn't it 3 terms?
You're appointed for 2,
I thought it's 3
oh,
consecutive.
the rules of reg say 3 consecutive terms. You're right, I got mixed up.
So that would be
The selectmen
3
appoint you
years,
for 1 3-year term.
and then you just continue on?
Okay.
Been there.
All right, any other questions? If not, we have a motion on the floor to accept the minutes with one change. And it's been moved and seconded, I believe, for the second time. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. Unanimous.
Who seconded?
Anita
I know.
Hardy did, I'm sorry, and Bob. Thank you for reminding me, Sue. All right, and the other thing that we have, Nancy, I'm going to ask a big favor. I know you have to leave too, but
I'm leaving in 5 minutes.
5 minutes. You've got 5 minutes to give your report. Do you want to do it, or is Dottie going to do it?
I can do it from here.
Okay, well, okay.
There isn't much to say. The Halloween celebration we had was very nice. We didn't have very many come dressed up like we hoped, but those who did dress up, like Sue Raymond, she was just fabulous. She should have won a big prize, but some of us excused ourselves because we volunteer or we work for the town, and so it wasn't fair that we're here all the time and you get an award for it. So I apologize to Sue, but she was great. If you missed it, look online on Facebook.
Oh my God.
Next month is our Veterans Day Luncheon, and we're booking up with that pretty fast. The Neshoba Tech is going to cater with their annual turkey dinner. We have a guest speaker. Her name is Linda Cafferty, and she is the National Vice President of the what is it called? The Wives, the Gold Star Wives. And she lost a husband in Vietnam.
Aw.
And so she's going to come and give her a small talk. She is a friend of mine. I told her I'd give her 5 minutes. If she's at 10, I'm getting her off.
And when is that? Is that at the Veterans Day luncheon?
November 6th.
Okay, yeah, just want to make sure.
And Barbara is away. I don't want anyone to think she's not doing well. She's on vacation.
Oh, poor thing.
She's in Italy. And she sent us pictures today that I wasn't very happy about. And I do have a doctor's appointment, so if anything comes up that you have questions about, Dottie can answer for you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy. And you have the Friends minutes from September 4th in your packet. You can review. They're kind enough to give them a copy of their minutes when they approve them at their meeting. All right, moving right along. The only item under old business is just an update from the working group for Senior Center that Nina has started with Joe Knox, Cindy Napoli, Nancy Levine, Barbara, Bob Stetson, myself, Patty, and Liz. I think that covers it, everybody. And actually, we met, Nina updated us at that point, that was on October 4th. And the architects had met with all of the departments, but not the library. So, all the other departments within, I think, Shattuck Street in the building. And she felt that it was likely there might be some information in mid-November or so. And I think that was what I jotted down in my notes anyway. That's what she led us to believe. That's pending. It's not, don't take that as, the final word, but that's what she was hoping for.
Okay.
And our next meeting will not be until November 15th. So basically, that was it. We didn't really have a lot. Nancy, you were there too. I don't know that you have anything else. So that's where that's at. We're waiting to get information from the
Can other
architects.
people go to that meeting, or is that an open meeting, or no?
No, it's not an open meeting.
Oh, it isn't?
Well, I guess it's not even a meeting. It's a working group. It's just a gathering of the people that were invited to participate.
Okay.
So,
It's not a posted meeting, though.
no, it's not posted as a meeting per se at all. It's just a working group getting together informally. So. Okay. Any questions about that? If not, I'd like to welcome Mark Wambacher, who is the chair of the Library Board of Trustees. And he's here to update us and help us understand, the situation with the library, educate us, available to answer questions, I'm sure, if people have them. So, you're on, Mark, because I got the word from David that he has to leave early and you have to leave early, and Ann Lee she doesn't going with you, but she has to leave early.
got 5 minutes.
And so, I'm rushing to try to get you on
So,
so
well, thank
that
you.
we have time.
So, as most people know, we're looking to build a library on the slope site, which is basically directly behind the tennis courts. There's an article on Article 13 at town meeting, which is voting to approve the library project. The way it has to work for town meeting is the town has to approve the entire amount of the library project, which right now the number we have is $14.5 million. We'll have a more firm number by Thursday. We're getting Dave and I have to leave. We're interviewing contractors, construction managers today, and the construction managers are supposed to give us an estimate on Thursday. So we'll have a number for that. The $14.5 million, we have a $5.8 million grant from the state that if we approve the project at town meeting, we'll get the grant from the state. It's payable 20% over 5-year term. So it's not a one-time check, it's payable over time. We've also done a bunch of fundraising, and we've raised almost $700,000 to this point for the library. We're hoping for $1 million, so we'll take any donations you have. We're working with we have the building project is going to go through, we're doing a CM at risk building model, which is different than a lot of the building. It's not a design bid build project like the fire station was, which means that we're hiring a construction manager basically right after town meeting. We'll be hiring one, and they will be working with us every step of the way. So one of the things that we have more control over is like site security and flow of traffic. So we're working with them now on things to make sure like the parking lot will be as accessible as possible for as much time as possible. Mitigating, traffic and security concerns around the building. So the library, we will have a 120-person meeting room downstairs, another 30-person meeting room. Both of those are subdividable, and both of those will be available for council on aging or any other town department to reserve without a fee, just like our rooms are now. There's no requirement by the Board of Library Commissioners. They don't have set any policies on the meeting rooms. It's entirely up to the trustees on how we use them. So as the library article is worded for town meeting, it's being funded inside the levy, which means your taxes aren't being raised to pay for the library. It's possible the selectmen will have a motion or an election, a ballot on the town election in May to move some or all of the town share as an override. If it's inside the levy, it affects the capital budget, which basically means how much is available to do things like buying new ambulances, fire trucks, things like that. If it's done outside the levy, they have more flexibility. So, does anyone have any questions on the project that I can answer, or? We're not, we're trying to, the space that is being vacated by the library is part of the town space needs to see whether it would be suitable for repurposing as a senior center or other uses by the town. The library trustees have zero control or zero input on that at this point. We're not even involved in any of the space needs meetings anymore. Those are the working groups that are involved, like Marge mentioned. The library trustees have no say in that at all right now. So
Good, since you've got nothing to do, you want to put your people working with us to raise money?
So I have talked to Marge about that in the past. My wife is one of the chief fundraising people for this. She's more than willing to come and talk about how we've done the fundraising and share ideas. We kind of have a multi-tiered fundraising. The Friends do some, and then there's this fundraising organization, and then the trustees. All of the money that's raised for the library building project, regardless of the source it comes from, ends up with the trustees. And it's right, all of the money is in a town account. It's not being, the Friends will act as a staging area, basically. Every couple months, they will send us a check, and then it goes into a town account. And those accounts now, we're working on an MOU with the selectmen to basically say, we guarantee that this money will only be used for the building project. So we've done several events in town and around. We do a mini golf event the past 2 years that has been very popular. We raised $15,000 the first year and $18,000 the second year. They've done other events in town. They did an event at Orange Store Kitchen that made a little bit of money, but it was more of a publicity event for it. They've been to seeing what other libraries have done to raise money, and they're trying to figure out the sources. Right now there's something called Building Community 01460 that we've been asking people to pledge $1,000 over 4 years, which turns out to be 68 cents a day, basically. And that has generated somewhere between around $170,000 in pledges, I think we have from that. So the money we raised, we have a little over $500,000-ish in cash, and the rest is in pledges right now. And the pledges are, the people that pledge, they'll start getting knocks on the door Tuesday after it passes. But we're more than willing to help you we can help you go through what we had to do, the stages we went through for building the library, what you're doing now with the focus groups. We did that probably about 5 years ago, right before we even started the building plan. We went through the focus groups, and then we had a consultant that was running those focus groups that basically took the information from those focus groups and said, you need these rooms in this size, right? Without saying where they were or how they were laid out. And then we took that information and went to an architect when we got the planning grant, who started to look at our existing spaces and other spaces. And then we generated the pretty pictures for the grant, basically, from the architect. And then after that, we're going from the pretty pictures into more like construction documents now. So we can help you with all of those stages. What the roadblocks are, the obstacles we fit along the way, so on.
Excuse me, Marge, through you to Mark. MOU?
Memorandum of Understanding. So it's basically, we're having an agreement with the selectmen that says the money that's in this account will only be used for these purposes, right? The money, there's no intent for the trustees to use as anything else. It's just our pledge to them that it'll be used that way. Because the trustees do have other, the library's been around for a long time, so there's a lot of old endowment accounts. People gave money back in the 1800s, right, that are sitting there, that most of the money's like, you can use the gains to buy books, or there's ones that say you can only buy children's books with these, and so on and so forth. So these are funds that are specifically, the funds, yes, there's a bunch of funds that are untouchable. Then we have the funds that we've been raising that are specifically designed for this project.
It's very similar, I think, to the memorandum. We have a memorandum of agreement with the selectmen in our manuals, which is an agreement about how things work.
Yeah.
So it's very similar to that. I think if you look at it, like you're saying.
And it's just easier to say MOU than to try
I'll
to say the whole
bet.
thing.
MOA.
Yeah.
So, but I think they're
They're
pretty much the same, yeah.
They're the same thing.
So,
Part of the project, there will be an improvement to the road. There's a dirt path now that the highway department uses to get to the ball fields.
Yeah.
That will be paved and accessible for a fire truck. The grass path that goes down currently between the library, currently if you walk off the end of the parking lot, there's a grass path. It's overgrown by knotweed. If you go down, it feels like you're walking through this arbor because of the invasives. We're going to try and take care of as many of the invasive plants along there as we can. There'll be the library will be 2 floors. You walk in to the second floor where all of the adult collection will be. There'll be elevators and stairs that take you to the lower floors where the children, young adults, and the meeting rooms will be. The meeting rooms will be available. All the meeting rooms on the lower floor will be accessible after hours. There will be a handicap accessible walkway that you can also walk down to the lower level, basically through the knotweed collection right now. It kind of goes out. it's a fairly long circuitous path to make it on the right slope for the handicap access, and without a bunch of switchbacks, so.
Do you have any parking back there?
There is no parking in the back. So one of the things that people have been concerned about is the parking in this facility. We're adding
19.
about 19 parking spaces that will all be basically up. There'll be parking on both sides opposite the tennis courts now. There's only parking on the slope side now. There'll be parking on the tennis court side. So they'll cut out some of that hill, build a retaining wall, and put parking over there. So one of the things that has been talked about is this facility right now has about 140 parking spaces. We are adding 20-ish parking spaces. It's possible, according to our architect, to restripe the parking lot and add about another 25 parking spaces with nothing more than restriping. They've also done studies that I actually have a nice chart here that basically says of all the hours that the three main departments in this building, the COA, the town office, and the library are open, there's only 13 hours during the week where all three are open at the same time out of a potential of 117 hours. Yeah, so.
Restriping means even narrower parking spaces, and it's hard enough now.
I'm not, yes, I agree. Well, I'm not sure if it's just making them narrower or trying, I think the area between some of the parking, like, I don't know exactly how they planned on restriping, but yes.
Okay.
I agree that would be a concern if they're narrower.
Yes,
There's also things they could do out
Especially when we
front.
have to squeeze out of our cars.
On that,
It's true.
when you're on Shattuck Street, and the tennis court is here, and then there's the walkway down to the other school, is that walkway gonna be fixed in any way where there could be parking over there?
No, there's no plan of making that a car path at all. There has been talk, it's not part of our budget, but it would be something that would be nice if the town did, would be to light that path.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
definitely.
So there's talk of doing that, but it's not inside the scope of our project. I'm all in favor of it. I use that path a lot, and it's very dark. And,
It is, yeah.
And it's actually, right now, it's very dangerous because it's so covered with pine needles that it's very slick. So, but it's not part of our project to do that.
Okay.
Will your building be well lit to bring the people in?
I hope so.
I mean,
yeah.
like when we go out of meetings here at night, it's like there's no lights almost.
Yeah.
And it's very scary.
And the building is also designed to take advantage of, so on the front of the building, the windows are a lot smaller than on the back of the building, so you'll have like the natural light and the beauty of the woods behind you to take advantage of that. The back of the building has a lot of glass on it for
But you
aesthetics
can't park
purposes.
back there.
But you can't park back there.
So,
But,
Yeah.
yeah. One of the other things that we had the architect add is off of the building on the side going towards the ball field currently, where the kids sled and things, there is an exit over there. So if any building is built over there or the kids are using the sledding hill, we can open up a door so that there is access to the library from that side on the lower floor. So it wasn't originally part of the design, but it was, we were thinking of future additions or future buildings.
Plus kids that have to go to the bathroom in a hurry.
Yes.
When they're outside.
Yes. We're not affecting the ball field, we're not affecting the sledding hill, except potentially, whatever happens during construction. But we're trying, sometime this week, I've been told, they're going to go and put stakes out to where the corners of the building will be, and they're going to mark the trees that have to come down for the building. But we're hoping to keep as many of the trees out there as we possibly can, so.
One question I have, if we vote on the Monday to
Didn't sound
keep
right,
it within the levy and vote the money, and then in May, there's the ballot, and the ballot wins to take it outside the levy, does that in any way prohibit the library from being built?
So if the vote passes in May, the library is going forward regardless of whatever happened. If the library passes in October,
That's right.
the May vote doesn't affect the library
Okay.
one way or another.
All right.
It's all October.
It's October, okay.
And And we can't wait till May, the way the grant is
Right.
worded, we have 6 months to approve it after it was
Yeah,
awarded,
it's
and
almost
this is our,
up, and that's almost up.
this is our 6-month window.
Right.
So,
So if the vote does go down, there is no way we can get in before the grant is lost?
Well,
it's not clear. If it doesn't go down in October, we'd have to figure out if we could do anything before January, and I don't know if that's at all possible or not. If we don't get the grant now, we probably don't get the grant until 2030 again. I believe there's about 18 libraries right now waiting behind us for the grant. And the way the grant works is the library commissioners have a certain amount of money they can give out every year, and they take the next libraries on the list for that amount of money and give them out, and until they all basically say no or yes, they don't have more money to give out. Right. So we don't expect the next round until 2030.
So it's very important that this pass.
Yes. So it's a lot of free money to give away, right? It's between the grant and the fundraising, we're covering between 45% and 50% of the cost of the building. So
that money is guaranteed.
yes. So
It's
so the
guaranteed.
5.8 million.
By the state.
We're getting that if it passes. There's requirements you have to make along the way to make each milestone, but I think we've already hit the year 2 milestone. So like year 1 is basically, well, we haven't hit the year 1, which is passing. When it passes, we'll get a check. Year 2 basically is contingent on having construction documents that we already have. So we're well on our way. If the vote passes in October, the plans I see basically says the library will be ready for business around the end of July of 2021. So
2021.
the construction will start next spring,
2020.
in 2020, and take about 14 months.
Right.
So,
And we're going to interview 3 different construction companies, and I think one of them said that their schedule has it maybe by June 1st, and the one that takes the longest is like the end of July. So it's right in that window there that it would open.
You believe it when you see it.
yeah. And the $14.5 million number, it's an all-in number. It includes furnishings and, everything.
Computers and all that stuff.
Everything but the books, right? It's, with one caveat, and the one thing that I don't know it includes is the cost of moving the books to the new place. But I figure we got enough volunteers, we can get a fire brigade going across her. We have Andy Kern's pickup truck. So,
Very good.
so.
Thank you.
You did well. You only took 10 minutes.
So,
Any other questions for Mark? No. Good luck.
thank you.
Thank you.
I hope it works.
Thank
Well,
you.
thank you. And
Really
like I
good.
said, I'm more than willing to come and meet with anyone, and we'll volunteer our fundraisers and friends group to come in and talk to you guys. Just let us know what meeting works, and someone can be here.
Great.
So, thank you.
Thank
I'll
you.
leave this with you if you want.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
Yes, that's very helpful information.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. You got to leave too with him? Oh, it's early, huh?
I can stay a while.
You can stay home.
Yeah. Thank you, Mark.
So, all right. Well, actually, we have a very brief, good meeting today. It's a brief meeting. You're going to be happy because the only other new business item we have is the focus group review. We've had 2 focus groups, and this isn't going to take very long either. So
Nicole and I have a lot to talk about.
you do.
Our
So,
reports.
they have their reports coming up, and we didn't do them. Oh, we did. We caught up last month, but still, there's a lot going on. So the focus group review, we had one last week, Wednesday, I believe it was, that was well attended, and one this morning, which was also, I thought, well attended. And so we have 2 of the 4 that we had scheduled done. And there's one this week, Wednesday, and a week from this Wednesday. The one Wednesday is at 12 noon, as I said earlier in the announcements, and then the last one on October 30th is at 8:30 in the morning. So, basically, sometimes that happens. I try to avoid it too, but So, and
We're getting
actually,
some very positive input.
we have had some wonderful input, I think. Liz,
Yeah.
would you like to speak to?
Yeah.
Do you want to
Yeah.
share
Sure.
Yeah.
what you've
Yep.
heard?
Sure,
A
yeah.
lot.
So a lot of the questions are revolving around so the very first question we start off with, what are the first 3 words you think of when you hear the word senior citizen? And then
We're all set.
generating conversation from that, and that just takes off. A lot of people have a lot of strong feelings about senior citizen, and it's funny that initially people are like, not me, I'm not a senior citizen.
Right.
And there's a whole plethora of other terms that people prefer, and usually that so far has generated into a conversation about what do we call a new building? Do we call it senior center if there's all this feedback about that, or do we call it a center for active living or some other terms? But we're getting a lot of feedback on what people want for activities, what they want for what they want to pay for a user fee for an activity, location of the building, what's going to be inside that building, what do they want to see, what do they absolutely not want to see. It's been great so far, and I'll compile it all at the end and share all the results. And Amy's been taking lots of notes for us and putting it into a spreadsheet.
No, some great ideas
Yeah.
have been,
Yeah, I've
verbalized,
been
I
surprised.
think, yes.
To add to your list, I went home for my class reunion this weekend, and I went to a senior center for a craft fair. And it wasn't a senior center, it was an all-friendly center.
All friendly.
All-friendly center.
I've never heard that one before.
And there was all ages of people with their crafts and all ages of people doing the cooking. It wasn't just seniors cooking lunches, and they said that they use it in varying different times of the day or night from different groups, an older group, a not so older group, and they do have dances there. People wanted dances, and it wasn't very big, but the big thing I took away was it had that welcome table when you walked in
Oh, yeah.
that would lead you to where you should go, you know, and then they had a big bulletin board right behind it of things that were happening. So, and it wasn't a huge building, but it took care of everything. There was the kitchen and, you know, a big room where they ate, but we were using it for crafts. Yeah, but I thought an all-friendly center, that was really different.
Yeah.
What town is that?
Dalton, Mass.
Oh, Dalton.
Oh,
Interesting.
wow.
Right near you and me.
Yeah, hometown.
Hometown for you and me.
Seems like a lot of people are interested in getting the 50 plus, the 55 plus group
Involved.
in and bring them into our center and let them know that we are active. We're not sitting around and
Yeah, there's been a lot of
talking
comment-
about Medicare all day, every day.
Right. Or, and a lot of people aren't using walkers and
Yeah.
things of that nature, so.
Yeah, we want to appeal to everyone.
Right. And there's been a lot of great ideas, and also the whole concept of, no, things later in the afternoon, especially in the
Early
summer
evening.
months, and before, we go through that dark period, which we're coming upon soon, when it's dark at 4 o'clock. But that is sometimes a concern, that you can plan things around that, But seniors don't pull in the carpet at 6 o'clock at night, never go out. A lot of comments about dances,
Yeah.
and,
But even
They came up with a
programs.
solution for that.
well, they did, yes, they
know,
did.
They talked about the lack of transportation here.
Yep.
If we had some transportation, we'd be willing to come. So, they
Yeah.
looked at the senior center or friendly place or community or whatever it end up being called. They're willing to come, but, some acknowledge, well, I don't drive in the dark.
Right,
But if there was a bus, yeah, I'd be on it.
right.
And
Yeah,
I'd
they
be
did.
there,
They were,
which is a good acknowledgement that they're willing to go out, and that's a good
Just
thing.
not willing,
That's
or they
what
don't
they-
have transportation.
Right.
and
Well,
they
they
also,
also
Talk about
Not
going
gonna
to
sit
the
at home.
movies at night,
Yes.
yeah,
having a
That's
movie
a
night. Right.
yeah,
Or going out to lunch in the daytime. Stuff too.
Yeah, no,
yeah.
it was, they've been very good, so.
And active afternoon activities.
Even on
Active.
even sometimes on weekends too, because if you've got a little bit of a, like a Saturday trip or something, you might get the younger people coming on board because they'd see that it was gonna be a good time. It's a thought.
Depends on the cost.
That's right. Depends on the cost.
That depends on the cost.
Yeah, but if you weren't going to New York City, it might not be too bad.
Yeah. So we're trying to find the right balance in terms of age. We want to appeal to that 50 to 60 age range, but we don't want a center just for that age range. We're trying to hit everybody upwards too. So just trying to find that right balance. This is going to be the tricky part.
And you really can't ignore that age group.
Right.
Because if you do, then you don't have a future.
Right. That's our future patrons.
You might be apt to get more funding if you appeal to the younger group as well and say, you know, in 20 years you're going to be here, so what do you want to see when you get here? And how active do you want to be when you're 70? You know, but that's got, I think, townwide, when you look at getting funding for a building or whatever, if you're just looking at seniors, it's going to be harder to get the funding that we might need.
Right. We need the buy-in of everyone.
We do.
Always.
Yes.
Although
We do not plan any in October that are there any planned for, November? None, no. But we know that we can do that or have a couple in December if we see that we want to hold a couple more at a different time perhaps. So.
We need another focus group.
Yeah,
Like
if
a
we.
6 p.m. maybe, or
Yeah.
5 p.m. We'll see.
Or one on a weekend, we'll have to think that through a little bit, but.
Yeah, I had somebody from church Sunday, young man, I would guess he's probably 50. And he was saying, I'm very interested, but I can't make noontime on Wednesday and Tuesday and so forth. And so I think that's important. And he said, but I'm interested in seeing, well, I said, I certainly hope so, because you're going to be there.
Right.
Maybe by the time we get it built.
All right, other comments about focus groups, no? Well, it's interesting, I went online at one point and looked up focus groups because I decided I wanted to learn more about them myself, and so there's quite interesting information online about them and the purpose of them and how to conduct them, etc. So they're used a lot by professional groups who you can pay to come in and do them, pretty big bucks, so we're very lucky here.
Well,
We have Liz helping in doing this.
They were doing that at another program that we were doing for the town, I think. They had the focus groups the meetings.
Oh, for the town planning is, center of town where we made the little models and all that.
I did, way
Kind of
back.
focus
Yeah, I
groups.
forget what the name
Master
of that.
plan, master plan group.
Yeah.
Yeah, did it, they had some.
That was very well run.
Yes, yep, you're right, yep. All right, so it's really a good thing, and we're grateful that we have people participating. All right.
Should we
Actually-
make some kind of a plan to go visit groups, say go to the Rotary, and should we set up a plan or a schedule to go and have meetings there and talk about it?
Or maybe we could have somebody from the Rotary come and we can speak to them, or they can speak to us.
You're
Yeah,
going to
I've
the very
been
list.
in contact with Alan Bell, trying to get a time slot to go and talk. So when I have that nailed down, I'll send it out, and whoever wants to come with me can join in.
Okay.
So, and we'll see. We tentatively haven't put this out, and we're still talking about it, but we are going to be having a table at a football game, and it might be this Friday. Only because we discovered that the library is having a table Friday, and we don't want to, be in competition with them and everything.
Yeah, but
So-
we welcome if you guys, if we can go there, we're more than welcome. We want to put the two tables right close to each other so that it's
Right? People can ask all kinds of questions.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's coming up, and that is because, we had that suggestion back in August, I think, from, actually, one of the selectmen said it's you need to get out to people,
Right.
not always expect them to come to you. So hopefully we will talk about that, and figure out, make a decision about that today, later, I think. So. All right, any other discussion about focus groups? And getting out, we're on the road.
Yeah.
We are on the road and on the move, so
The other
we're
thing
starting.
too, I guess, I don't know if it'd be different, but it'd be information sessions rather than focus groups, but that's a little further down the road when you have something that you want people to know. Right? I mean, right now we're gathering, but then pretty soon you're gonna wanna say something.
Right,
Right, and that's when you wanna start planning the focus groups and going around to everybody, and, we had to do that, and, it worked well.
that's good.
A lot of people attended.
Get out to the groups,
Right.
you're saying, yeah. I think that's really, we have to think about that.
Mm.
Yeah.
Last week, our social work intern Ryan and I were trying to promote the rental assistance program, so we went up to the Point, and we went in every restaurant up there and Market Basket and a few of the other stores giving out brochures to try to target their employees, because if you're working at like a retail job or a food service job, you might qualify for this program, the rental assistance program. So we'd walk in with our brochures and say, we work for the Elder and Human Service Department for the town. The what? The town has a Human
Yeah.
Services Department? So
Yeah.
there was a lot of explanation about who we are and what we do, and well, let us help you.
Thus, the table, wherever we
Yeah.
go, is going to be the Department of Elder and Human Services and what it is.
Yeah, the more we get out there, the
Yeah.
better. I think we're all on the same page about that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's needed.
I know, people just don't understand.
No?
So, and that plays into everything too, because, you have, when you're talking about space, it plays into this amount of space you need, and people have to understand that.
Right.
Okay, all right, if nothing else, then we'll move on to the reports. And we have the director's report, and then the outreach coordinator's reports.
We have Amy and Nicole come up to the table, because a lot of our things are going to be overlapping.
So,
we
sure,
have-
absolutely.
We have 2 chairs.
Actually, there's 2 chairs, and you're near microphones, if you're up here so people can hear you better on TV. One of you can come over here.
Okay, where to start?
Thank you for the other night.
Yeah, a lot going on. So first, I just want to thank Amy and Nicole and our intern Ryan for getting together the resource guide. It's done.
Whoa,
It's done.
yay!
So this is our office copy.
Wow.
Here's a copy for everybody else. We'll pass those
Oh,
around.
wonderful.
And what are we going to do, how are we going to get this out to people?
This is going on all of our tables. We're not going to be mailing this out specifically to people because it is comprehensive, very comprehensive. It's very long.
Can they
Amy-
request one?
English high school.
I'm sorry?
Request one?
So what else Amy did, so I'm kind of going into your territory too, is, so we made new participant packets, new resident packets, and new ridership transportation packets, and we have folders with our sticker, it's all branded and labeled. So if you're new to town, you've never used a COA before, you've never used our bus before, you're gonna get one of these packets, and this is gonna go inside every packet. So,
Welcome.
That came up this morning in the focus
Yeah,
group.
yeah.
The resources.
So Amy went a step further and made an internal and external resource guide. This is for professionals in the business, so you shared it with St. Vincent de Paul, I think.
And thank you both for coming. It was a great night. We got a lot of information from both of you. Thank you.
One question, is this online also?
Not yet, but it will be. Working on it.
Wow, look at the places of worship even. See, wasn't even that familiar.
Covered all the
Yeah.
bases.
I did.
Then I just wanted to share,
This is really important when people are looking for help.
yes, yeah.
It's huge.
So we'll scan this in and upload it to the website. And then to continue on the thinking staff train here, I got this email from a resident that Nicole and Amy have been working with very closely, really tough situation, but she sent this email thanking them and saying that thanks for your help. This is the most difficult time, and not having to do it alone helps me to sleep at night. And I just thought this was so powerful that she reached out and thanked you too for all that you've done. So I just wanted to share that with everyone so they know what good job you're doing.
That's amazing.
And then just another thing that really impressed me that Amy did, she had a client come in who was having difficulty paying bills, and she made up a budget sheet. So I just wanted to pass this as a mock-up.
Jack of all
Yeah.
trades here.
Yeah. So this is just a mock-up of what she did. She didn't put in the real information of the person, but if you're having trouble keeping track of your bills and following your bills, you can come in and meet with Amy or Nicole and
Copy.
get one of these budget
It's like a
sheets made up for you,
Yeah.
and she'll
Yeah.
personalize it for you. Yeah.
That's really
Give yourself
nice.
the credit where it's due.
Yeah, it's
You both work really,
And
really
that's a big
hard.
thing, when I meet
Bring that up.
clients and we meet clients, that's real important, especially in the town of Littleton, because there are a lot of people who need help, but they don't know how to do it. And that's a big tool that we're gonna use of yours a lot.
Page 4, Dottie just brought up that the neighborhood dinner is at the Congregational Church, not the Unitarian Church.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Good point. So if anyone sees a correction that needs to be made in here, email it to Amy.
Right, that neighborhood supper.
And what is Amy's email?
ADeMichael@littletonma.org. It should be in your board manual. Okay, so,
Can I ask another question?
sure.
Last page, page 9, places of worship, and forgive me if I'm ignorant, Firehouse Coffee House?
Oh, that's the,
That's on Foster Street. That's at the Unitarian Church.
yeah, it is.
Where are you looking?
It is not-
Firehouse Coffee House is under
Yeah.
places of worship. If it is, that's great. I just didn't know.
I think it's Unitarian.
It takes
is a-
place
it's a
at the
group.
Unitarian
It
Church.
takes place at the
They have-
Unitarian
Okay.
Church.
They have activities, don't they?
Yeah.
It's they have special events, I think, the coffee house, special times that.
Follow up.
Yeah, follow up more, a little bit more.
Okay.
It's the Unitarian Church that does put it on,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. So just going down the list, I mentioned the rental voucher program, we're still promoting it. We haven't received any completed applications yet, but there's several being worked on out in the community.
This is great.
Isn't it?
Yes.
It's fantastic. We have a whole bunch of interns right now. We have Carol, our nursing intern, we have Ryan, the social work intern from Salem State, and we also have Ben from the Littleton High School Transitional Program. It's been fantastic to have so much help. Carol's helping out with Social Club and Blood Pressure Clinic. Ryan is helping out with outreach and with my stuff. And Ben has been helping out taking our broadcaster, making slides for cable so we can advertise our programs. So that's been fantastic to have the extra help. And then going down the list, an email came out yesterday from Shana 15 that they are going to be giving grants out, non-competitive grants up to $1,000 to each of the COAs in their territory, specifically to start a new program. So perfect timing with our focus groups. Hearing what people want, we can tally that up at the end to apply for the grant and start up a new program up to $1,000. I haven't even told Nicole about this yet. This is great. It just came out.
I love that.
Yeah, so be sure to tell me what you want to see and tell Nicole, tell Amy, let us know. But it's non-competitive, so all we have to do is apply.
I want to just go back one.
Sure.
Is it gonna, I'm sure it is, but in the broadcaster, is this going to be announced and every week? I mean, every month, like, you can get all your listing on?
There's a box right now on the outreach page that says to contact Amy for a packet, like a new
Okay.
participant packet or a new ridership packet. So we can clarify it a little more to explain what it really is.
So that they know to
Yeah.
get one,
Yeah,
or
and the
where to
people-
get it.
The people that have come to me for a new participant packet already, I've let them know that I have a document I'm working on that I will send out to them. I have a list going.
Thank you.
Budget season is here, and it's due for the Council on Aging for EHS department on the 30th of October. We're doing something new this year called zero-based budgeting, which is the budget has been completely wiped to zero, and we start from scratch. So we've been busy going back to the past 5 years of expenses and bills, trying to figure out and justify every single dollar that we're asking for. So this year's budget is going to look very different, I think, based on what we're coming up with, what our actual expenses are, and trying to rearrange some things. We're renaming some accounts and trying to make things fit where they should be. So they want to be able to account for every dollar and where every dollar is being spent. And some of the categories are just very general, like recreation, but that could be anything. So we're trying to really narrow down what our expenses are and what our revenue is. So
We haven't received the budget from this board
No.
for the last couple of years. We used to do it.
Mhm.
We used to actually physically do the budget. I would appreciate very much if we could see the budget when you get it done.
Yeah, I'll bring it in and show it to everyone. It's been a really great learning process. It's been
sure it
kind of a
has.
headache, but it's also been a really good process to look backwards the past 5 years and seeing what are our instructors charging, how much are we bringing in for each instructor, what should we actually be charging for classes to try to balance it out. It's really going to be a bit different. So I'll bring it in when it's done.
Sounds like transparency to me.
Yes, and there is a new thing on the town website. It's an open checkbook, so you can go in, I think it's being rolled out maybe January 1st, or it already is rolled out, that you can go into the town's checkbook and see. You can go by department, you can go by, yeah, you could look up to see where the town is spending money and see all the expenses. You can narrow it down to see what we're buying for office supplies, essentially, and how much we're spending on office supplies.
Now, is office supplies, is it each individual department paying for their own?
Yep.
Yep.
There's no like group so that you can all get a better
Right.
price?
So when I'm doing my office supply budget, we'll have to look back on what we've spent. How much are we spending on paper clips, for example? How much are we spending on furniture, like new office chairs, things like that? And really justifying everything we're going to be asking for.
However, I would venture to guess that, for example, office supplies, WB Mason Company is a supplier of stuff
Yep.
like that. And, you know, I'm sure they're getting a pretty good price, given the fact that, you know, there's probably, I don't know how many departments in town that are utilizing them type of thing, even though it's a separate order coming from Department of Elder Review Services. So.
Any questions on that? I'll do a little presentation.
Did I miss this? Are you putting these out at like the neighborhood supper or mentioning them at the neighborhood supper or just at the desk?
I haven't thought that far ahead.
Okay.
But they have a system, right, in place on how they're gonna distribute it, so, you know.
After they make the correction.
Yes.
Right,
Yes.
yes. But, yeah, so you know, at least they've gotten that far with it, so.
Yeah.
If anybody has any feedback, if they think it should include anything else, feel free to let me know, and I'd be happy to
I
put
didn't
any.
particularly notice the memory cafe in there, and
that's
that
true.
might be something to
Okay.
this because
That would be a great thing to put.
That's a good suggestion.
Good idea.
Memory cafe?
Yeah.
the Baptist Church on the last Saturday of the month, or fourth Saturday of the month.
Just moving on to the upcoming programs, we have the self-defense class, lunch and cupcake decorating class, massages, new class called Mindful Movement that's starting up. The pastel painting workshop is coming up. That's all listed out on your director's report sheet, and we're also going to be advertising that on cable with our new slides. So if anyone has questions about that, times, places are in here. It's also all in the broadcaster. And then, last thing I want to talk about is Nicole and I went to the Massachusetts Council on Aging annual conference, which was fantastic. It was Wednesday, Thursday, and Nicole went to the Friday session. Just the amount of information and the amount of people, it was incredible. There was about 600 to 700 COA staff there, so it was fantastic for networking. Went to a whole new director workshop, went to a workshop on rebranding yourself to stay current, which I learned that our logo and our branding is good compared to a lot of other places. So I think we're ahead of the game there. Went to a property tax relief seminar and learned that Littleton does a lot for seniors compared to other towns. We do far more for the senior tax work-off program than a lot of our fellow towns. I spoke about what we do here and how much money that we get put into that account by the selectmen, putting the $80,000 into the fund every year at the town meeting. And I had towns emailing me after the fact asking, how do you set it up and how do you do this and how do you find job placements for people? So I think a lot of people are impressed with Littleton's system. Another thing I just wanted to share, this is just a neat art exhibit that was there. It was called Beginning at the End, Portraits of Dementia, and this is just a lookbook of the different portraits that were shared, and I want to share it with you because it was really powerful to see these portraits that were done and the stories with the people. So I just wanted to share these with you. Yeah, it was moving. It was very moving.
And who did this?
The photographer's name is on there somewhere.
Joe Wallace.
Joe Wallace.
Joe Wallace.
I also went to a seminar called Moneyball for senior centers. Has anyone seen the movie Moneyball? It's like a baseball movie where they had someone who really calculated the statistics of
It's a guy
runners
from
and batting and
California,
Brad Pitt was-
California baseball team, whatever.
I think
it is.
so. Yeah, the A's maybe,
His last name is Bean, I think.
something like that. Anyways, they did this whole presentation on how to use My Senior Center, the database we use,
Moneyball.
to make the most of the statistics you're getting, how to really maximize the information you have to reach more people, to program better, to just really maximize the info you have. That was great. So there's a lot of new things that we're going to try to implement based on this conference. Now, Nicole went to the most important day because I had class on, what was it called, Nicole?
It was called Designing an Older Adult Community Center for Coming Boomers.
Ooh.
Yes. So it was very good. And I have this book that anyone can look at. I'll pass it around, but you can look at it. It'll be in my office. So it was an architect who specializes in designing senior centers who did the presentation. It was amazing. And a lot of what he talked about was like the aesthetics of the building, the physical building, how important natural light is, the entryway, outdoor space, and being able to see the outdoor space from the indoor space. So it was really, really interesting. All of the different trends that he has, you know, in there for the senior centers to make sure that you're utilizing all this space. One of the things he said is do not have a hallway, no hallways, because it's wasted space. Every space should have a purpose. So it was really interesting. And he said the most important things to do are needs assessment, focus groups, involving the community, involving the schools and parents. He said that a lot of towns do a community survey explaining why they're doing this and who's on the committee making the decisions. And he said another thing to do is to tour facilities in the area, see what you like, what you don't like, what's maybe missing. And he said the biggest mistake people make is that they build a building for right now. You should be building for 20 years from now, is what he said. And it was interesting, you were talking about the name of a building today in the focus group and here. And he said that it's changing. Senior centers are the name senior centers are kind of becoming a thing of the past. he said that a lot of people are moving to Center for Active Living, Center for Active Aging. The senior center in Belmont is called the Beach Street Center, and they actually rent it out for weddings, and they generate revenue from that because it's not seen as a senior center. It's kind of a community building. So it was really good, and that book is really great. Has a lot of good information from it in it. If anyone wants to check it out, in my office.
Thank you.
And that book is specific enough to talk about even like the positioning of handrails
I noticed
going
that.
around, yeah.
I noticed
Where
that.
it should be, so it doesn't look like a nursing home.
Right.
Yeah.
And he mentioned natural light was a huge thing that he spent a lot of time on, and he mentioned skylights, and he said for a lot of the new buildings that he is building, their electric cost is so low because of all the natural lighting. And he said he showed pictures on a slideshow of these huge rooms, like the multi-purpose room, but bigger. And he said you wouldn't know there are no lights turned on in this photo. It's all natural lighting,
Wow.
which is great, really.
Yes. Where is he located, that architect?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know.
Does he copyright what he's got in there? Because I said, we need to get a copy, a couple of copies of that and start looking at what he says are things that should go in, because we can get ideas
And all
from that too.
the photos in there of the local senior
I'm not
centers.
thinking of the photos, I'm thinking of the diagrams.
Oh yeah, I know. But those are all buildings that he worked on, so it's pretty interesting.
Did he do Belmont? Did he create
No,
that one?
no, I don't think so. But he was talking about the names, and I actually had to look it up when I was back there because I couldn't remember. But I remember he said that they rented out for weddings.
Could you imagine renting ours out for
Oh, yeah, I could just see that now.
On Mount Wall, we'd have great mural on the back wall. Oh, really?
Right.
What more could you want?
If you want a country
Painted
wedding,
by
there's your
artist in
mural.
residence. Barbara McRae, yes. Yeah, a lot of the paintings on the walls
She
around
I
is.
here.
can understand that, because natural light is good, because a lot of elders, seniors, wise people, whatever they want to be called. I've heard so many names.
Wise owls.
Wise owls.
Yeah.
Natural light is so much better, particularly if somebody is sundowning.
Yes.
Absolutely. Because it decreases sundowning.
Right.
Yes, it does.
And that's really something to think about. I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of people don't realize you can sundown and not know it, including yourself.
I did.
I'm very well aware of that, having
Right.
worked in nursing homes and assisted living things. So that is a really important thing to think about
Yeah.
at any building.
Right.
Well, there's so many factors when you're designing colors.
It was really amazing, all of the things that he was talking about. 6-inch stair lifts so that it's not too high. Double railings on the stairs, places to sit like on the landing of the stairs. Really, I mean, I think it was like 3 hours, the presentation, but it was, the things he was talking about, I would have never, just every little detail.
Did you talk anything about the colors and the fact that
He
the
did.
older people's vision changes and
Yep.
for some people, their perception of blue and greens and things is gray,
Yeah,
you know.
he did
and
mention
they
that.
don't see
and-
it as blue and green.
Right,
So-
and he said, bright colors are important, but he also said with rugs and
Yep.
tile,
Yep,
if someone has vision problems, if they have those big squares,
yep,
it can look like a black hole.
That's right.
To some people who are walking
right.
towards it.
Yep.
So that's important too.
good.
And like the acoustics of a building. And he also mentioned like being able to see the outdoors from inside, big windows. He did a building, I can't remember where. I want to say it was in Ashland, but I might be wrong. And he did this huge outdoor patio area, and he had these bricks that people could buy and have something engraved on them, and that's how they generated some money for that. But the bricks were made of this rubber, so that if someone was out there and fell on the brick, it wasn't like falling on concrete. It was like they had, it's really all the things that you wouldn't even really
Think about.
Yeah, it was really great.
That's good. What a resource.
Something just popped into my head today as we were talking about outdoor space, like a sunroom,
Oh, yeah.
so that
Solarium.
people could spend time outdoors, early spring, late fall, even on a halfway decent winter day.
But be inside.
Right, so that you're getting sunlight
Right.
and you're getting exposed to being outdoors, but you're not freezing. And you're not dealing with, right, you're not dealing with ice and, having to shovel and all that kind of stuff.
It also would be a good place for programs and stuff.
Yep,
because people
absolutely.
would enjoy it and it wouldn't be too.
Absolutely.
It's getting exciting the more we talk about this. Think about it.
Now, were all the ones that he talked about new buildings?
No, not brand new. They were all ones that he did.
He did, but it
It
started
says
from.
over a span of time. I think in the back there, it says ones that he's currently working on and ones that he.
But did they repurpose buildings or did they start from scratch?
I think both. It's a combination.
Thank you.
Oh, very
Lots of
interesting,
good things.
very beautiful.
Is there anything for outreach that I?
I have a question. On the SHINE program, that's the one that helps people to decide what to get for Medicare and Medicaid and so forth, now that we're in open season. Do they do individual,
Appointments?
appointments?
Yep, every Friday. Kathy has appointments every Friday morning,
Okay, and where do you make the appointments?
right at the front desk.
Okay,
She has
because-
appointments at, I think, 9, 10, and 11 every Friday.
Okay, because I'm finding it very difficult, no matter what they say, even with the television ads at the point, people get together and get all the answers on their screen, baloney.
It's very confusing.
It's very hard to figure out what is cost appropriate and also will give you what you need. And the ones I've been to in the past have always been groups. And everybody's asking different kinds of
Yeah.
questions, and you often don't get your questions.
This is very,
Particular.
individualized. She can meet with you and
Okay.
figure out what's best.
Actually, I met with the gentleman before, and he straightened me out in no time. I know he's not here anymore. But he also took all my medications and said, this would be the best medication program for you to save you the most amount of money.
Right, they have a database where if you bring in your list of medications, they can plug in which medications and then come up with what drug plan.
Yeah, well, I know right now, my wife has Blue Cross and I have Humana because we figured out that the Humana program for me was a lot cheaper, and the base cost for Blue Cross was higher than Humana. So, those are little things, but they do make a difference. But I'm just wondering about this Medicare Advantage. I can't fathom it. They keep saying you can get
Drug plans.
dental and hearing and so forth with it, and I just need to, and I'm sure there are a lot of people out there
Well, I
feeling the
think
same way I am.
maybe, there should be, there are a lot of seminars going on now. My mail has been loaded with.
Yeah, well, everybody I don't want
Right.
to talk to the vendors because they all tell you their product is the best.
Right.
I want to talk to somebody who does not have a stake, who can say, these are the kind of things that work, and this is what it would be for you.
Well,
So
and that's-
Kathy Myers, Friday mornings. I think right now she's booked out until December, so call now and get your appointment.
So, yep.
She's really good.
Yeah.
See, that's the same discussion we had today about the taxes.
Mhm.
There aren't enough
Tax.
spots, appointments.
Yeah, they're going
For
to
people
December,
to-
the only thing, the thing stops December 15th.
Right.
But there are other council on agings, and they have SHINE counselors there too, if you need something before. Kathy can put you in.
Doesn't Minuteman also have some, Minuteman?
Minuteman.
They come
funds.
from Minuteman volunteers.
But, you know, because I remember they used to bring those in to some of the places where I was.
So Minuteman houses the Shine program and gives the Shine counselors to the different COAs in the area. So Kathy Myers, our Shine counselor, is a Minuteman
Employee.
person, yes, who comes to see us. Takes a very
You
special.
say they house them there, do they have an ongoing program with more counselors?
Yep. So they have yearly trainings to onboard new counselors, more train more folks.
That's down on
onboard.
2A. That's down on 2A on Concord, right?
Yes, no, Bedford.
It's in Bedford.
Minuteman, yeah.
Bit of Bedford, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, do I hear a motion to accept the reports?
So moved.
Seconded. Maureen seconded. Bob moved.
Thank you, Sue.
All right. Any other further discussion about the director's report and the outreach coordinator's monthly report? Thank you, very informative, lots going on.
There's so much information,
Yes.
it's great.
It is. All those in favor of accepting the reports?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, I think it was unanimous, Sue. Thank you. Is there any other business that needs to come before the board? Yes, Bob?
I would like to take a minute just to say thank you to our director. The more I see her do, the more I get involved with things that she's been involved in, the more that she provides. I realize how much she's into this whole area of elder and senior services, and it just amazes me, the things that she's come up with us, more than any, and remember, I've been on this board for years and years and years and years. The things that she's come up with to get us going and to find stuff, it's just been exceptional, and I really do appreciate it, Liz.
Thank you, Bob.
10 times over.
Oh, well, you all make it so easy to do this job, and my staff is fantastic. I couldn't ask for anything better. Thank you, Sue.
Well, as I said, we're on the road. We are moving.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we've got it.
Appreciate that.
We've got a momentum going, and we're going to keep at it. So. Yep.
I have a question.
Yes.
Are Sue and I working Friday night?
But we are going to talk about that after the meeting.
Oh, afterwards. All right.
Why, do you have a hot date?
Well, I could go to Spalding to a football game. There's always a football game.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
I second it.
Thank you. Did you get that, Sue? She's good. I have a motion that we adjourn, and it is 2:52. All those in favor?
Aye.
And I don't